So the other day, I put out a video talking about one of the most ridiculous things that I've seen in a long time. That being the NYPD dance team. No, I am not kidding. The New York Police Department decided that it was a good idea to put their time and energy into creating a dance team. Never mind the crime that is running rampant throughout the city. Never mind the fact that everyday Americans who are living in New York, they are living in fear. They're scared to walk to the bodega. They're scared to commute to and from work. And they're relying on the New York Police Department to keep them safe. But the New York Police Department is more worried about doing dance moves. They're more worried about twerking and twirling around in circles, doing the nay-nay or whatever popular TikTok dance move that is out there at the current time. Now, I don't live in New York City. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert about how things are going up there, but I know that things are not going good. I know enough to know that they have shut down several libraries. They have shut down entire schools. They have shut down a lot of the after-school activities, the extracurricular activities. They don't have funding for it. They don't have enough funding to keep libraries open, schools open. They don't have enough funding for people to have a music class. And then the NYPD itself, they've been going through a lot of budget cuts. So as all hell breaks loose in NYC, as taxpayer dollars are not used on the actual citizens and the actual people of NYC, all of the taxpayer dollars are being used on illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants are taking over entire high-rise hotels. They're not just taking over gymnasiums at the schools anymore. They're taking over the entire schools, and the kids have to do virtual learning because they can't go to their school because their school has been taken over by immigrants. So as all of this hell is breaking loose, the NYPD decided that now was a better time than ever to showcase their dance moves. They've been going on news channels. They've been going to little events, not talking about what they can do to battle crime. No, they just put a bunch of diverse women on the stage and allow them to twirl around and dance a little bit as if that's going to solve any issues. And people are really upset about this. This is how you know it's bad. Me and AOC agree. Even AOC, of all people, had to call this out. Now, when me and AOC are on the same page, that's when you know that something ain't right. So, I mean, I can't even really put into words how ridiculous this is, but I hope you can feel it in your mind, body, and soul. This is not just something to laugh at. Really think about what's happening in our society. And these are the people that we're supposed to look to for guidance, for protection, for safety, and this is what they're doing. But this was all part of the plan. All of that defund the police nonsense that happened a couple of years ago, and all of the stuff that was happening in the military, they're really trying to get all of the good people out of the police force. They're trying to get the good people out of the military. Anyone who wants to do their job, no. All of you all need to get out. You need to be defunded so we can replace you with fat, diverse women who will take their dance moves more seriously than your safety. That's what's happening here. Basically, I mean, if you want me to be totally honest, most of the white male cops have been demonized. They no longer want to be a part of the police department. So now a lot of these police departments are basically just a bunch of diverse women who most of them are not qualified for the job. And I think that's obvious because in NYC right now, most of these women are not out here patrolling the streets doing their job. No, they're learning dance moves. That's what they're doing. They're learning dance moves. And this is something that's happening on purpose. They want you to be demoralized. And I can tell you right now, the people of NYC are demoralized. It's worse than after 9/11. After 9/11, people came together. There was a certain spirit of camaraderie. Not anymore. NYC it's in shambles. It's not what it used to be. And maybe what it used to be isn't as great as what people once said, but it was damn sure better than what we're looking at now. But it's all part of the plan. The powers that be, they want America to just fall apart and rip apart at the seams. That's why they got rid of all of the strong fighting men out of the military. That's why they're getting rid of all of the strong men within the police department. Because they want things like this. They don't want law and order. They want chaos and destruction. And as chaos breaks out, they want you looking at the NYPD. They want you looking at the military. They want you looking at politicians and becoming hopeless. That's what they want. They want to demoralize you. But as if this dance team and all of this whole entire situation wasn't bad enough, now the NYPD is out here on the news trying to defend this dance team. They're claiming that, oh, we used our own money. This doesn't come from the budget. That's a lie. You think that all of these NYPD officers are going to a dance studio and dancing around on their own dime and dollar? Hell no. Our taxpayer dollars are paying for it. They're not going to admit it in this interview. They're going to claim that, oh, no funding or anything is being used for it, but that's a lie. But with that being said, let's go ahead and listen to these delusional, ridiculous assholes. Let's listen to them make excuses for their dance team, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
The NYPD is responding after a performance of the dance team right here on the Pix 11 Morning News last Thursday went viral, with New Yorkers and even politicians like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez criticizing the NYPD for what she says is wasting taxpayer dollars on the group. The performance set off a Twitter firestorm, and that also body shamed female dancers, and what they said was a lack of experience.
Joining us this morning to address those critics and to set the record straight is the president of the dance team, Autumn Rain Martinez, and NYPD Deputy Commissioner of Communications, Tariq Shepard. So great to have both of you back this morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so Autumn Rain, I want to begin with you, right? Because you came on, you're doing something in your spare time. You even told us last week this was to reduce stress. Set the record straight. You saw these comments online. What did you make of those comments?
Well, we never expected to have so many hateful comments or hurtful comments or anything like that. We just were hoping to show that we come together and we're trying to build rapport, we're trying to build camaraderie. You know, the sports unit and under Health and Wellness has so many different teams within the sports unit. They have basketball team, they have volleyball, they have golf, they have everything. So we just were, as a dance team, wanted to come together and dance. We're not looking to be professional dancers. Some of us have never danced before, some of us have danced our whole lives, but we have to, you know, have choreography that's fit for everybody so that everybody feels comfortable doing what they want to do and still want to dance and be motivated to dance. So even with the comments that we've been getting, we've been just leaning on each other and just, you know, supporting each other and making sure that we're all okay, because it's already tough being on this job, but then to have more things like that for doing something that we love doing is kind of hard. But at the same time, we are looking for support from each other and within ourselves to keep up dancing.
It really is a shame that it's come to this. It really is. And to set the record straight also, does this come from taxpayer money? Do these women rehearse and get together during work hours?
Right. So, no, we don't use any department funds or taxpayer dollars. They purely came together. They volunteered to do this. They do all of it in their own time. They practice and come together on their own time, after work, off duty. And we're just so proud of them that they found dance to deal and cope with their stress and mental health, and then choosing to go to some place like a bar, right? And so we're very proud of them. And, you know, after looking at the comments this weekend, it just shows why it's so important for women like this to come together, because you have people online who increase you know, stress levels and things like that, because the anonymity of being online and being behind a phone or keyboard produces just some really terrible people at times, and that's just the society we live in. So we totally support them and very happy that they chose this format to come together.
Yeah, it's important to highlight what you just said about the taxpayer dollars when you have Congress members saying things about budget cuts and whether or not other programs were cut to make room for this. But I want to go back to you, Autumn Rain, because we just did a segment yesterday on cyberbullying. We had an expert here talking about cyberbullying, and this is a form of cyberbullying, right? Because the comments were hurtful and direct in terms of body shaming. So when you said you were leaning on each other, right, what do you want to say to those anonymous folks out there about some of the words they were using against you and your team?
Well, to the people that were saying the hurtful things, there's nothing that I could really do to change their mind to get them to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Their experience with police officers is their own experience. You know, I can't take that away from them. It's very valid how they feel about police officers. Unfortunately, it's now directed towards us to doing something that we love doing. The only thing that I can say is to those out there that do experience cyberbullying, you have to have that strength within yourself. And you have to lean on your family and your friends for support. It's tough. It's very hard to get through those negative comments, but you have to, if you don't feel it within yourself, to feel strong and to know that what you're doing is something good, then it's going to be very hard to continue on like that. You can't let other people dictate your life for you. You have to keep living. You have to do all the things that you want to do.
And this is the thing. This is a group of women, and you all fall under, you said the dance team, this activity falls under
The sports unit and
sports
health and wellness.
health and wellness.
Yes.
And the NYPD has football teams. They have baseball teams. Did you feel in a way that this was kind of targeting women? Because you don't hear them ever saying much about the baseball teams, the football teams that are made up of men.
It does feel that way, and a lot of people have said it because we are female officers, or not everyone's an officer anyway, but either way, to have female members of the service, they are directly targeting us being female and being on the job. And it's hard to deal with, but you know, you can get through anything.
Yeah.
And then just keep on striving, keep on living, keep doing what you got to do.
Yeah, well, we saw that strength even last week when you were here all together, and the camaraderie you have as a team. But Commissioner, you know, again, I want to go back to the fact, to Hazel's point, of all these teams, right? Because it's important to highlight, yes, there are budget cuts happening elsewhere, but this is something to help with the mental well-being of being on the job and not necessarily coming from a budget. I just want to highlight that because it's so important.
Right. So as I said before, they totally fund themselves. But when you look at the comments, everything from they should be out fighting crime. Well, that's what they do.
Yeah.
You're online. You should pick up an application, and maybe you can come and help us fight crime. But they are doing exactly what they need to do, and off duty, they choose to come together to support themselves. We've had people talk about budget cuts. What budget cuts have to do with this dance team? So there are people who are speaking without being fully informed, which is not surprising. But you know, the reality is that the reason why these women have come together is so important in our society. Stress, mental health, you can't find an issue more important than that affects families all across the country and around the world. And for them to find this format to come together and support each other is just fantastic.
I think it's fantastic. And as a mother of two young girls who are very impressionable, thank you for what you do.
Yes.
And thank you for sending such a positive message about being proud of who you are.
Absolutely.
When's the next performance? We'll be there cheering you on.
When you go to commercial break, I'm going to get
All
out.
right.
Gosh, no, that must be, that's must be TV.
Not on camera.
We're actually looking to have a new choreographer to help us, you know, do even more to really show our skill set.
Wonderful.
For right now, it was just kind of choreography just to put together, just so we had something for it when we had our last performance at the Barclays for the basketball game. So now we're really going to be coming hard. We're going to have more choreography. We're going to have it all.
Keep doing you. All
Yeah.
right?
Thank
Keep
you.
being you.
Thank you so much.
Don't worry, everyone. We're inclusive with our dance moves, so everyone can give it a try. Who gives a flying Who cares? These women, if they got extra time on their hands to be dancing and doing choreography, they need to use that time to maybe do firearms training. Maybe they need to train with their firearm, because we have a big problem in America with cops, mainly women cops, pulling out their real gun instead of their taser, okay? It's happened plenty of times. These women cops, usually it's a woman, sometimes it's a man, they reach for their taser, they pull out their real gun, and they kill someone. So maybe let's do some training with that. Or hell, Maybe let's do some mixed martial arts training, some self-defense training. That's what these women need. Now, let me be clear here. If you're a regular woman and you're not a police officer and you're not in the military or anything like that, and you want to do dance moves and choreography and stuff like that, I'm all for it. I'm not against it at all. But as a police officer, that's a certain job and duty that you take on. So if you have some free time, I think you should use that free time to get better at your job as opposed to better at some dance moves that no one wants to see. Literally, no one in their right mind wants to see the NYPD doing dance moves. Now, I like fun just like everyone else. Let me be clear here. If New York City was this bright and beautiful city where there was hardly no crime and the NYPD had a dance team because they didn't have anything better to do, there wasn't people getting robbed and murdered left and right, then okay, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But New York City is in a state of urban decay. It's decaying rapidly. When you want to go get some wings or some Chinese food, you got to deal with junkies taking literal dumps outside of restaurants in the middle of the city. If you want to take the subway home from work, you better be ready to get mugged or attacked with a machete, or some type of crackhead's going to do some type of kung fu breakdancing moves on you. Who knows? Maybe you do need some NYPD dance team training. People are getting freaking R-worded in Central Park. Purses getting snatched. Women getting punched in the face. Asians are getting attacked by black people at an alarming rate, and no one wants to talk about that. New York City is a crazy place to be right now. So if you're someone that lives there and you're looking for some form of help, you're hoping things are going to get better, they're not. The NYPD is not going to try to make things any better. The NYPD is not worried about your safety and your well-being. At least not anyone on this dance team. They're worried about their dance moves. When they're out there on patrol, they don't got their eye. They're not out here monitoring everything that's going on to make sure that something bad doesn't happen. No. When they're out here patrolling, they're thinking in their mind, oh, well, which comes first? Do I put my left foot right? Or do I put my right foot left? Or do I do this? Or do I do that? Or when do we spin? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But like I said in the prior video I made about this, we live in a clown world. It's bad enough that these people thought it was a good idea to have a dance team. It's even worse that they're doubling down and they think they can come out here on the news and convince people that this is a good idea. Oh, well, the internet, people are going to say things. Listen, I know the internet can be a horrible place. I get it. But I haven't seen anyone say anything wrong about this dance team. You can say whatever you want, and it's well within your rights. Because they deserve to be mocked. They deserve to be ridiculed. They deserve to be laughed at. Hell, if you guys want to dance, go somewhere and fucking dance. This is not the time or the place for that nonsense. Period. None of y'all could make it on a real dance team, or else maybe you already would have. So now you're spending your time as a police officer learning dance moves as your city falls apart around you. Hell, half of these officers aren't safe. They're probably getting robbed and mugged as they leave the dance studio. And then he had the nerves to say, all of you are behind a computer. You're behind a keyboard. Why don't you get an application and sign up and come help us? Okay. Fair point. Or maybe the people who already signed an application, maybe the people who already got the job can do their jobs. Maybe instead of expecting random people on the internet to do the NYPD's job, maybe the NYPD can do their own job. Maybe instead of worrying about the people with criticisms behind keyboards, maybe you should worry about all of these women that are on the police force who aren't doing a damn thing but shaking their asses while on the job. Let's talk about that. Instead of talking about, oh, well, why don't you sign up and come be an officer? Why don't you have your officers actually be officers instead of a freaking step team, a middle school step team? This is embarrassing. This is ridiculous. It's stupid. I feel bad for the people of NYC, but I can't feel too bad for them because I know that this is going to happen everywhere. Before you know it, there'll be a police force dance team in your city, and as your city is overrun with crime, you'll watch the police officers do hip-hop dance moves on TikTok. It's ridiculous, but this is what the powers that be want. They want to get rid of a certain demographic of people. They want to flood this country and flood all of these professions with different demographics of people who are more concerned about doing dance battles than actual, law and order. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up. If you would like to donate to the channel, you could do so via Cash App. I'll have my Cash App in the pinned comment, but make sure you subscribe and all of that good stuff. And with that being said, I'll talk to you all soon in the next video.